I still remember the sound of their laughter. It wasn't the kind that hurts your ears. It was the kind that tears your chest open. My mother's glass clinked softly against my father's. "Thanks for the wedding gift," she said, and my sister threw her arms around me, her perfume thick and heavy, sweet as poison. They laughed together like thieves celebrating a flawless heist. I smiled back. That part mattered. You can't let them see the crack. Not yet. Instead, I said quietly, "Check your mail when you get home." That was 3 weeks ago. The lake house wasn't just property, it was mine. I bought it when I was 28, my first real victory after years of scraping through freelance contracts and rejection letters. That little cabin by the water was my sanctuary. My father helped me hang the first wind chime there. My mother chose the curtains for the guest room. My sister brought her dates there, always calling it my brother's little retreat. When I got promoted, they toasted me on that deck. When I broke up with the woman I thought I'd marry, they comforted me there. They knew exactly what that place meant to me, which is precisely why selling it felt so personal. It started with a call from the county office. "Mr. Hale, just confirming the transfer of the lake property title went through." The what? By the time I reached my lawyer, the sale had already closed. My parents had been co-signers on the original deed, a convenience I'd added years ago for inheritance purposes. My mistake. They'd used that small technicality to sell the house and wire the money directly into my sister's wedding fund. $150,000 for a wedding I wasn't even invited to until the day before. When I confronted them, they didn't even flinch. "It's family money," my mother said. "You'll buy another one," my father added. My sister smiled, twisting her engagement ring. "Come on," she said. "It's not like you even go there much anymore." And then they laughed again. That sound became fuel. Revenge doesn't begin with rage. It begins with silence. That night, I sat in my car outside the empty lot, staring at the moonlit reflection on the lake. I felt the air leave my lungs, and with it, the last of my attachment. They'd taken something sacred. So I decided to return the favor, not in anger, but in precision. The next morning, I called my lawyer, then my accountant, then my bank. No yelling, no threats, just quiet patience. My parents had built their retirement around my success, joint ventures, investments under my name, tax shelters connected to my consulting firm. I was their silent safety net. Every major asset they owned depended, in one way or another, on my credit line or my trust umbrella. So, quietly, I began cutting threads. I withdrew my name from business filings, reclassified their accounts as inactive partners, redirected trust disbursements to a new entity, one I controlled entirely. It took 12 days. By the end of it, they didn't own what they thought they did. Meanwhile, my sister was busy planning her fairy tale wedding, custom invitations, imported flowers, a beachfront venue. Every Instagram story was another drop of fuel. 2 weeks before the ceremony, I called the venue manager, posing as a vendor confirming payment. There hadn't been one. The check from my parents had bounced. Their accounts were frozen, pending investigation. Funny how that works. On the day of the wedding, I showed up in a gray suit and a quiet smile. The chaos had already begun. Guests whispered outside as the staff locked the ballroom doors. The caterer refused to serve without payment. The florist packed up the bouquets. My father was red-faced, yelling into his phone. My mother stood near tears. My sister, in her gown, mascara streaked, whispered, "What's happening?" I approached them calmly, hands in my pockets. "You said it was family money," I told them. "I just took mine back." My father glared. "You ruined your sister's wedding." "No," I said softly. "You sold mine." Silence fell, heavy as a verdict. I turned to leave, but stopped midway, pulling my phone from my pocket. "Oh, right," I added. "You might want to check your mail." That morning, courier envelopes had arrived at their house, official notices from the financial institutions confirming asset retractions, trust dissolutions, and foreclosure warnings. They hadn't seen them yet, but they would. I walked out before anyone said another word. By the time I reached my car, my phone buzzed, Mom calling. I let it ring. As I drove past the lake that night, I rolled down the window. The water shimmered, dark and endless, reflecting the moon like glass. It didn't feel like loss anymore. It felt clean. People say revenge doesn't bring peace. They're wrong. It just depends on how you define peace. Mine was quiet, like the lake at midnight. Still. Perfectly still.